Hi everyone, today we're going to be going over the Smarter Balanced math test that you're going to be taking. As a reminder, throughout the video, you should use the included notes PDF to write down notes about what this presentation covers. And if you don't have access to the printed PDF, then you can just take notes on a piece of lined paper. That's fine. On your notes paper, go ahead and make a note that this year the test is going to be taken on Monday, April 26th from 8:30 until 11:30 a.m. All right, so the first part says, what is SBAC? SBAC, S-B-A-C, stands for Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium. This test is part of the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, or CASP system. The Smarter Balanced Assessment is a test that's taken every year as a part of California's state testing program, and it assesses mastery of the Common Core state standards. So those are the standards that guide the things that we cover in math class, and it also serves as an indicator of your college and career readiness. And so those are two of the important things that the test serves to assess. At the high school level, all 11th graders take the SBAC test in English Language Arts, so that's ELA, and then also in math. Go on ahead and make a note on your paper for this one that there's two parts to the test, English Language Arts and mathematics, and that all 11th grade students take the test. All right, so next we're going to talk about some components of the SBAC test. The Smarter Balanced tests are designed to assess how ready you are for college and career. The Smarter Balanced assessments for math can be divided into four main areas, and those are outlined here. So there's concepts and procedures, problem solving, modeling and data analysis, and communicating reasoning. And so what we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks together in class is going through problems that help you practice answering questions in these four areas. Make a note for this slide that the content that the test covers is math that you've been learning all throughout your years of school. It's math that you've learned this year as an 11th grader, but also math from previous year's classes as well. The Smarter Balanced test follows a blueprint, and you can see the first of two slides about that here. The blueprint discusses the types of questions, what assessment targets each of the areas covers, and then approximately how many total items on the test you can expect to see from that. Your goal today isn't to memorize this. That's our job. We're going to make sure that you get plenty of practice in these different areas, but take a look through the screen while you're looking at it here. You can see several things on this list that are topics that our Integrated Math 3C class covers. So the good news is that the things that you've been learning about all of this year and all throughout high school, and realistically all throughout middle school and your previous math classes as well, have been getting you ready to take this test. Our job in the next couple of weeks is just going to be to practice these things, and then let me also go on to the next slide as well. Our job is going to be to help you have the opportunity to practice these types of problems, but also become more familiar with the test and also become more familiar with the way that the test asks you questions. Looking back on the previous slide, so there's between 19 and 22 items that come from claim number 1. And then looking ahead, let's see, so 8 to 10 total questions that come from claims 2 and 4, and then 8 to 10 total questions that come from claim 3. And so although the number of questions on the test vary, you can expect a total of about 40 questions on the Smarter Balanced test for math. Take a moment and try to look through the list on these slides and write down a couple of assessment targets that you remember learning about in our class this year. The test that you'll take, the SBAC math test, the results provide one measure of knowing student knowledge of the subject matter, critical thinking, analytical writing, and problem-solving skills that you would need to have to be prepared for and succeed in today's world. So the test doesn't necessarily just measure how much math you remember. The test also measures your ability to describe your thinking and writing. It measures how you are as a critical thinker. It assesses your problem-solving skills. And so it's much different than the kind of test that you study for or take, and that test just measures how well you learned the previous chapter that was covered in class. One of the goals for the Smarter Balanced math test is that it collects information about how you are doing in these areas on this particular day at this particular time. Your score on the test serves as an indicator of whether or not you're on track to pursue college and or career by the time you graduate from high school. So colleges are using your results on this test to help determine whether or not you're ready for college level coursework. And that's what this last bullet covers. Students that are at a college content ready level in math must be able to show foundational mathematical familiarity, as well as the quantitative reasoning skills necessary for introductory courses across a number of subject areas. Students must also show subject area knowledge, as well as skills linked with readiness for entry-level, transferable, and credit-bearing mathematics and statistics courses. So colleges are not using your SBAC score for an admission requirement. It's different than the SAT. Colleges are using your scores on this test to help decide whether you're ready as a learner to participate in college-level math classes. The note that I'd like you to write down next to this slide is this. Your score on the test does not determine how good of a math student you are. Your score on the Smarter Balance test helps colleges decide if you're on track to pursue college and/or career. The Smarter Balance math test has two parts. The first one is called the Computer Adaptive Test, or CAT. And so the Computer Adaptive Test is much different than a straight up multiple choice test. It does have multiple choice questions, but it also has a variety of other question types. And so some of those are listed here. Select all that apply, typing out a response, filling in answers on either like a short answer style question, but also filling in tables, creating a graph, drag and drop, problems where you have to click on the picture. The Computer Adaptive Test is also adaptive, which means that the question difficulty that you receive depends on whether you're getting the questions right or wrong, and that's also reflected in your score. The Performance Task, or PT, is a collection of a wider range of tasks that are tailored to more accurately measure a student's ability to apply knowledge and skills across multiple standards under a single theme or scenario. You're going to feel like they're similar to word problems, but they have multiple parts to them that all relate back to the same type of question. And the performance task questions have a lot to them. They are designed to measure a student's depth of understanding, but also your writing skills as well. In addition to that, your critical thinking skills. This year, students are going to take both sections of the test on the same day. In the notes for this slide, please write down that the test has two parts. The Computer Adaptive Test is made up of different questions that have you do different sorts of things. The Performance Task is a series of questions surrounding that single theme or scenario, so it's more of like a multi-step question to a single problem. The two parts of the Smarter Balance math test, the Computer Adaptive portion and then the Performance Task portion, are scored differently. The Computer Adaptive questions are scored by a computer. They're scored automatically. The constructed response items and the Performance Tasks are scored by people. And so your scores for both parts of the math test are combined together, and then it's combined with your scores from the English language arts part of the test, and then that gives you your score. And so the scores that you can receive as a student on the Smarter Balance test range between 2100 and 2900. Make a note here that the score that you get on the Smarter Balance math test is combined with the score that you get on the ELA, the English test. So when it comes to interpreting your results on the SBAC, obviously your goal should be to do as best as you personally can on the test. Looking at the 4 different categories, so you can exceed the standard, you can meet the standard, you can almost or nearly meet the standard, or you cannot meet the standard. And so let's look at the descriptors to see how those are different. Students whose scores are classified as standard exceeded are students that are performing at the high end of their grade level standards on this particular day taking this particular test. Colleges would view that as being that you are solidly on track for college and career readiness. Students who score standard met can complete complex tasks at their current grade level and demonstrate the knowledge and skills for success in future coursework. Students in this performance level are on track for college and career readiness. Students who nearly meet the standard can comprehend and complete tasks that are near grade level standards, and then students that are not meeting the standard are not yet meeting the grade level Common Core standards and need additional supports and substantial improvement to be successful in future coursework. Again, I want to reiterate this. Your job on this test is to do your best. Your job on this test is to go in feeling as prepared as you can and to do the best as you possibly can on the test. With that being said, as a school, we're trying to make sure that we have students feeling as prepared as they can, because we want to make sure that we can get as many standard exceeded and as standard met as possible. The score that you get on the Smarter Balance test is not an indicator of how well you are doing in your current math class this year. Your score on the Smarter Balance test is used as an indicator to determine how ready you are for college level coursework. Okay, so this is probably the most important slide in the presentation. Why? Why take this test? Why take this test? Why take this test this year? This slide goes through helping to give you the reason for that why. Besides wanting to do your best because it's good to do your best, the Smarter Balance test is used by colleges as a measure of your readiness for college level coursework. So again, it is not an admissions requirement. It does not determine your financial aid package. However, colleges use your results on the Smarter Balance summative assessments to help determine if you are ready for college level math, or if before enrolling in any required courses, you need to take remedial courses first. These remedial courses that you take are courses that you have to pay for, and they do not count towards your degree. So by scoring well on the test, colleges can use that as an indicator that you are prepared for college level coursework, and you can skip having to take remedial classes and go straight into the courses that you still have to pay for, but that count towards your degree. It's important to do well on this test because you don't want to be stuck paying for courses that you potentially don't need in order to be successful in college. Another reason why you want to work hard on this test and do your best is because schools get the information back about how our students score. We use that information, administrators and teachers both the same, to change the way that we're teaching. So we use it to change the structure of our classes. And so working hard to do your best on the test is helpful because it helps give us accurate feedback about how you're doing and learning and how we're doing as teachers and as administrators. And it helps give us accurate information to help us improve teaching and learning at the school. Here, I'd like you to make a note that the remedial courses that you take or that you may need to take if you score low enough on the test are courses that you are required to pay for, even though they do not count towards your degree. Doing well on the test also helps to the Canyon because it becomes a part of our dashboard score. So you want to do your best on this test because you have Cougar Pride. Thanks everybody for listening. Now that you're done watching the presentation, you're going to take a short 10-question quiz just to check in and make sure that you feel confident with the information that was presented to you here today. Thanks so much. Rah, rah, Cougars. Cougar Pride, get some.